Órale, cholo, choco, los tres chingones, boxing shots, all the chingones y chingonas. All right, man. So I got the message that it was time to renew my membership to DAZN. Yes, I do have DAZN. I've been a customer of DAZN for heck, quite a few years already. Um, and I never canceled that. I heard a lot of people, hey man, they're cutting the cord or canceling, not cutting the cord, but canceling the zone, right? I stuck with it. I remember when it first came around and it was like, hey, I forgot how much it was. I think it was like 9.99 a month or something like that, somewhere around there. And with that, all the pay-per-view, there was no pay-per-views. Like, hey, it's the end of pay-per-views. I'm sure everybody remembers that. And then, you started getting all these huge super paydays with Canelo. And then they started doing pay-per-views. They started slowly. They started slowly. And I stuck with the zone all the way through and through. Now, I, unlike unlike the other two chingones, I do watch, a lot of the stuff that's going on across the pond, these fights on the other side of the world and everything. So, it was worth it for me to keep it. I'm like, yeah, I never even thought of getting rid of the zone. Never did. Now it has all these other sports. I'm not interested. I don't watch soccer. I don't watch darts. I don't watch whatever the heck they had on there. I think every now and then I used to tap into Major League Wrestling, but I don't even think that's on there anymore. But nonetheless, I was there for boxing, and that was it. Nothing else. Nothing else on there was for me. Strictly just boxing. And I got the email not too long ago saying, hey, it's time to renew. $224.99 for the year. Okay. So 225 bucks. And I thought about it. I have been a customer for years since like it first came here to the States or somewhere around there. And for the first time, I said, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. I went ahead 48 hours, 48, because it renews on its own. It's not like you click something or anything. It just sends you a reminder to say, hey, it's just going to automatically renew unless you cancel. 48 hours before it was supposed to renew, I went ahead and I pulled the trigger and I pulled the plug on it. And I said, no mas. No mas because everything that I'm interested in is pay-per-view on top of it. Sure, you get some good matches just being a regular subscriber of the zone, but in reality, it's just not enough. It's not enough. And a lot of the fights that you get just for being just a regular subscriber is a lot of fights that, a lot of fighters that you never really heard of, which is fine. I'll go ahead, I'll tap in, but 225 bucks for the year? You may get a couple of decent fights just on the regular subscription of the zone. But the ones that I wouldn't even say are top tier, I would even say like middle tier, at least here on this side of the world, they're still pay-per-view. Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. was still pay-per-view. And that's pay-per-view on this side of the world at an odd time. So I had finally said, you know what? That's it. I held on as long as I could. But I would say like the last 2 years, there was really no reason for me to hold on anymore. I was just thinking it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. On the contrary, it actually got worse. Now I know they're coming out with that unlimited, which is, I think it's close to like $500. And with that, you get all the pay-per-views. But in all reality, the fights that have been the DAZN pay-per-view are not worthy of being pay-per-view. If it was everything that they call pay-per-view, right? Which is not pay-per-view. And it was for the $225, then I'd still be a customer of DAZN. But you're gonna raise that sucker to almost $500, and you're giving us pay-per-views which are not even worthy of being pay-per-views. Childless, homie. You want me to pay more for fights that shouldn't be pay-per-view, not even close to being pay-per-view? They shouldn't be behind a paywall. You're already paying for the subscription of DAZN. And you could say that there's all these other sports on there. I don't care about any of these other sports. So for the first time since DAZN has been here, I think it was right around the first year or something that boxing got onto the to DAZN. I went ahead and immediately became a subscriber. Now, maybe many of you dropped DAZN a while ago. That's fine. I get it. I remember hearing people who dropping DAZN. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna hold on. Nah, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on. I let go. I let go. This sucker is just robbing people. They are robbing the fans. And now they want to ask for more money for pay-per-views that are not worthy of being pay-per-views. Chales, dog. I pulled the plug on this sucker. Is anybody still a subscriber of DAZN? If you are, let me know. What's keeping you there? Because I've been feeling like this for, like I said, like the last 2 years. When they first started with pay-per-views, yes, it did bother me. But not to the point where I thought about canceling. At least not yet. But I'd say for the last 2 years, I did kind of think about it, like, I don't know, man, should I keep it? And I'm like, just keep it, just renew it, it's fine. But not anymore. This sucker has gotten worse. But you guys let me know. Cholo, Choco, los tres chingones boxing shots, all the chingones, chingonas. Catch you guys all next round.